Okay, so let's use this knowledge of samplers practically. I'm going to create a beat that we are going to use later on to add ideas to using synthesizers that we're going to learn about next. So right now I want to create a drum beat using samplers, and I'm going to start off with the kick drum. First, I'm going to find, let's say, a process kick. And you can browse through the samples in Ableton by just clicking the down arrow on your keyboard. So clicking one of the samples and then clicking the arrow down. I think this one is going to do, and if you remember, it's going to be really easy to exchange the kick drum if I actually don't like it. So for now, I have this kick drum. I'm going to write a certain pattern for it. I want a different BPM, let's say 128. So let's try that. Insert the new MIDI clip, draw in some kick drum. C3 is the original pitch. I'm just going to duplicate this note. And again, and again, and again. Let's play that. There is something amiss with this kick drum. It does have that, the backslash of it. Let's find another one. Maybe a different group of kick drums, maybe the analog ones. This one is nice. I could transpose this kick drum lower a bit. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so that's our kick drum. Let's find more samples of use. So the next thing I would go to would probably be a snare or a clap. Let's see a nice clap. Let's see layered claps. I like this one. So I'm gonna add that to the new MIDI track, just like that. And I'm gonna play that similar as a kick drum, but it's just gonna be every second one, like that. Now, as you can see, this clap does have that pre-delayed bit of it, has a little part that I think should play before our kick drum. Now, this is where it actually starts at like 15 milliseconds. So let's dial that in right here. So minus 15 milliseconds, I would say. I like that. I like that a lot better. Okay, so that's our clap. We could add some percussion next. Let's say some jump percussion, why not? This is all shakers. I like this one. So I'm going to create a new MIDI track. Drag this onto it. Or maybe even a better idea, I'm gonna create a new drum rack on this track. And then the samples I drag in, I'm gonna drag in more than just one percussion. Like this. Maybe this one too. I like the short one too. No. Ctrl Z. Because when I double click this, it replaced the drum rack with only that sample. So I actually want that sample in there. Nice. Okay, so what can I do now? Create a new MIDI clip and draw in something for this clip. with these three happening. So let's see what can we do with it. Okay, I like that. Let's try something offbeat. No. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. I like that. Now, the last thing I would do using all of these samplers is add some hi-hats. So let's see what kind of hi-hats. I would like some, maybe analog ones first. Okay, so didn't find anything I liked, actually. So let's see what else is in the other real hats. I like this pedal ones. Okay, so let's do that. Let me add another MIDI track. I'm gonna use samplers for all of these. Add a hi-hat right there. So let's try this hi-hat. It's gonna try to put this on top of our kick drum. Like that, so I can actually copy that pattern of our kick drum. Nice. I'd like to add this other hat too into this pattern of this hi-hat, so I'm going to right click on this actual sampler and say group to drum rack. Now that sampler is a part of a drum rack, so let's add this hi-hat also to it. So now it changed the way it's playing, not a one shot but classic sampler. So now I have that one. I have to move this downwards. Okay, so let's try that. I don't like this last part, but I like this bit right there. Okay, so that's good. What I'm gonna need next is, let's say, another MIDI track where I'm gonna put my offbeat hat that goes in between the kick drums. I think this one is gonna be cool. I think it has some reverb that is recorded together with the hi-hat in the room where the drum was. Really sounds like a real drum, but I really like these hats. So let's try that. Of course, I can always replace them later if I figure out that with the track that I made, they are not really, cool with. So I can always replace these hi-hats. But for now, I like these. I like that. So I'm just gonna double it down. Just like that, using Ctrl D, or I can right click and say duplicate. See that whatever I select, but do keep in mind that you can also select free space right there, so that when I duplicate, it also duplicates the free space so that this hat stays in beat. Just like that. Ctrl D, and it's duplicated. Now what I noticed is that these real hats, you can see this one and the other one too are kind of recorded louder on the right channel than the left one. Look at that. So it would be really nice if this one was opposite. Let's say if this one was louder on the left channel than on the right, then they would have that interplay with this one playing on the kick drum, this one playing on the offbeat, exactly in between those. If you can see that, exactly in between those. Even if I make this shorter, like that, with shift left twice, you see, right in between. So if they would to play like right, left, so I need to reverse this one. I need to reverse the stereo of this hi-hat. I'm going to use the audio effect utility. I'm going to say, instead of stereo, I'm going to say swap. So that's going to swap our left and right channels of this hi-hat. So look at that now. I like that. Nice. Nice. So let's find a shaker, I would say. Shakers and tabs. I really want a normal shaker. None of these. These are all too real. I think I found some nice shakers when I was in this percussion group or something. Let's see, in the junk percussion maybe. Was it in the hi-hats? Let's see, in the hi-hats, where did I look in? The amped ones. Maybe this is gonna work. So let's try that. A new MIDI track. We can always exchange it, so it doesn't hurt to try. Now what I'm gonna do is create a new pattern like this. And I would like something faster to happen with this. So let's do that. Let's just do this kind of a pattern where it's all 16s playing and just have that, something like that. Let's try that. Just duplicate all of this. Okay, so let's see what that sounds like. Sounds more like a hi-hat than a shaker, so I would definitely want a different one. No? Analog? Yep, I know I heard it somewhere. So I like this one. Kind of scratchy, not so high in frequency. I like this. I like this a lot. So this is our first step. So we actually have a drum beat and it's entirely made out of samplers. So all the samples we used are in samplers and are being played by MIDI messages. Now, what does that do for us? Well, we can exchange any of these samples that are played right here with some other samples in time. So let's see as we progress with this song while we learn about sound design. As we progress with this song, we might exchange those, we might not. Let's see what happens during the creation process and what do we actually need to exchange and what we don't. So we have our beat done. Let's hear that once more. So we could also do, right now I'm hearing these percussion loops, percussion samples, sorry. And I think that one of these two, let me check. These two, I want them on separate sides, so I want them panned to the left and right a tiny bit too. Let's hear that. Yep. That's good. I like that. So there you have it. It's done. We can actually control panning for single samples in our drum racks, and we utilize that. So now we have a drum beat ready and awaiting for more elements. Let me just save that. There. Ctrl S, and it's saved, and it's awaiting our synthesizer lesson so that we can add more elements into this.